Hello, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. What is that husky voice, you ask?
What's going on with you?
Well, we taped the Happy Hour podcast last night.
Yeah?
With Frangela.
Oh, my God. You're going to love it.
And the after party was the after party.
How long did it... Because I had to go. How long did it last?
They just left. No, they didn't just leave. Who can remember? I know we say best one ever, but I think this was the best. I think the Twitterverse is going to explode. I would recommend the video cast.
Frances does something with her mouth that has to be seen.
Right. It's a whole thing about if they ever have to go. Okay. All right. It's funny.
It's very funny. That's all you need to say. Very funny.
Okay. All right. It is hilarious.
Yes.
All right. And they're going to come in the regular show next week.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, such a reunion. Happy three-way reunion.
I love them. Very much.
Me too. In a really dirty way. All right.
Yeah, you made that apparent on the Happy Hour podcast.
Boy, there's some lines from that are still flying through my head all night.
And there's some lines that were crossed last night as well.
Okay, go to StephanieMiller.com. Go
to the StephCast section of StephanieMiller.com to find out.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Carlos Alzraki, Coffee with Carlos today.
Alzraki?
Rocky. Oh. In live in hour number 3, and right out of the box, here he comes. Carl for BullfightStrategies.com. Good morning, Carl Frisch, sir.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I am swell. How are you?
I am, you know what? I was getting sick yesterday, and Frangela was traveling today, so we had to switch it to last night. I'm like, well, I was going to take vitamin C to go to bed, but I think I'll go drinking instead. And you know what? I'm cured. I'm just saying.
You sound cured.
The curing power of the Happy Hour podcast.
Alcohol will kill anything still alive and preserve anything already dead.
That's right. Thank you, Carl. Thank you very much, sir. By the way, I saw your tweet. Can we all just leave Bridget Jones alone and get back to fear-mongering about Ebola? The whole Renee Zellweger controversy. Where do you stand?
If I didn't know who she was, I wouldn't think anything weird about it.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't. It's not bad work.
No.
She looks like a woman who hasn't had any work. She just doesn't look like the woman she once was.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't give a shit.
No.
I didn't say it.
Okay. Don't care.
I do not give a hoot.
Okay. All right.
I would much rather talk about other things. And if the plastic surgery was bad plastic surgery, like Melanie Griffith or the Gambler,
right?
Kenny Rogers,
right?
Kenny Rogers.
All right.
I might be more intrigued by it.
Right. I understand.
But, I'm not too shocked and I'm not too worried about it.
All right. Your point is leave her alone. We're lucky she even performs for us.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. Moving on, you're more interested in your cruise to Alaska. You said the crime scene pictures of the Palin family brawl make me think I can skip shoes for my Alaskan cruise. Am I right to assume shoes are optional in Alaska?
I mean, that's what I've gathered. I mean, from the looks of the photos, only about half the people of Alaska wear shoes.
Right.
So I'm guessing it's okay if I go shoeless.
Right. I mean, in the winter, I don't know what, but yes, apparently.
I mean, you apparently don't worry about such things there.
Guess not.
My understanding is that you don't wear shoes or you wear American flag Converse.
Yes, those are your two options apparently in Alaska.
Yep, and we could see those American flag Converse in one of those pictures.
Well, you could also, if you listen really carefully, I mean, it has been a good week for Palin observers. Let me just put it that way.
Yes, yes.
If you listen carefully, you can hear Sarah Palin in the background of the Bristol Palin Cunning, Uniqueness, Nerve, and Talent audio.
Yeah.
Where you hear Sarah Palin in the background telling her not to curse. It obviously worked wonders.
Clearly.
Yeah.
What exactly was she on that she almost had the Freudian slip to call her sister a 14-year-old.
Right.
She's still stuck in the election of 2008.
Right. She's like 14, 20. Whatever.
Yeah.
My little sister.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, physically, she's smaller than me. And what's a thong dress? I mean, there are so many problems with that audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where does one start?
Well, we think that she was wearing a thong under a dress, but she was too drunk to.
Right, because I
Get that
don't know
across?
such a thing as a thong dress.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying that you would take a stretched Hummer so that you could consume alcohol?
I'm not certain why. I'm not certain.
I guess it is like a 60-mile drive from Wasilla to South Anchorage where this took place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll use a limousine when I only have to go 2 blocks. So, I get it.
Uber black car.
But of course you have to choose
I'm not touching the pavement for anything less.
You have to choose the biggest gas guzzling one just to make a point.
Well, mine's actually an airplane limousine.
Oh, good.
It flies me the 2 blocks.
Good.
Nice.
Is that known as the Chris Christie? So yeah, and also you tweeted their struggles, Bristol Palin and Malala Yousafzai's memoirs compared.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best things I've read in a couple weeks was a book review of Bristol and Malala's biography.
Side by side,
yeah.
Side by side.
So
review.
similar, their stories.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, especially when you listen to the audio. I mean, I'm sure Malala has had such problems.
Right. And a thong dress probably not an option where she's from. All right.
I'm sure she has to worry about a lot more than a guy dragging her across the lawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carl, you tweeted Governor Scott should have borrowed Charlie Crist's fan for that question about delaying the execution for a fundraiser.
Well, it's debate season, and the Florida governor's debate has been strange all around. I mean, first you had the governor not wanting to go on stage because Charlie Crist had a fan,
Right.
which, lends itself to some humor. But then in the second debate, they were allowed to talk to each other, which I think is awesome, and that's how all debates should be. And you would think that for a guy who delayed an execution so that his attorney general could go to fundraisers, he would be prepared to talk about such a stupid move.
Right.
In a debate on television.
Right.
Being recorded so that it could go on YouTube. But he was not, and it was gloriously horrible the way he tried to respond. It sounded like he had been completely forgotten that he'd done such a thing.
Yeah, Jackie was talking yesterday about how hilarious it is, how much faster he starts talking when he's clearly lying.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, speaking of election season, are we going to see a John McCain ad about building the dang fence on the northern border after Ottawa yesterday? What do you think?
I don't know. You don't say, it's odd. You don't see conservatives trying to take advantage of such of gun violence in such a way. They may use it during the rest of the election cycle to raise money or stoke fear against Obama, but you don't see them attacking it because the votes they need to win are not concerned about those issues, right? The votes they need to win are independents and women.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're not going to win those votes by talking about how Obama is probably responsible for the gun violence in Canada. I'm not sure how you would make that connection.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering. I was reading a piece about the criticism that Rick Perry's taking in Texas, because I thought, are they going to be able to use this Ebola fear-mongering to win in the midterms? Because it is hilarious when you talk about Hurricane Katrina when it was all state and local fault, right? No, George Bush did a spectacular job, and it cut to now.
Cake with John McCain.
What's that?
He was right to be cutting cake for John McCain's birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's hilarious, isn't it? You cut to this, and it's all President Obama's fault, the Ebola, thing in Texas, right?
Well, I mean, that's Obama derangement syndrome to a T, right?
Yeah.
Anything that's happened since the Bush administration is Obama's fault, including the jobs that were already hemorrhaging. Anything that happened during the Bush administration was President Clinton's fault,
right?
Or would later become President Obama's fault.
By the way, a key detail has been missing in the story. I'm just reading in HuffPost this morning. Obviously, Texas politicians like Ted Cruz and Rick Perry pointing fingers at the Obama administration. Texas public health officials already had authority to impose quarantine restrictions on persons suspected of having contagious diseases such as Ebola, regardless of CDC recommendations. So, the fact that these healthcare workers were allowed to travel and fly and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, clearly they could have done, but they don't believe in that kind of regulation in Texas.
No, and you know what? There are all kinds of infectious diseases out there. If we stopped letting people travel from countries that had those kinds of diseases, we'd be clamping down on the world economy in a fairly significant way. And it's no surprise that something like this would be a problem in Texas. They've basically crippled their governmental infrastructure in Texas. This is a state that doesn't even regulate the way that buildings are built to a large extent.
Yeah.
So you have lots of problems there as well.
Speaking of Texas, I'm just looking at a story this morning that I keep saying, before you write the story, before the election even happens in a couple of weeks, I wouldn't underestimate the backlash of people, feeling like people are trying to suppress their vote, or take their vote away, and all these voter ID.
In some places in Texas, you've seen in the 5 big counties, up in most cases a threefold increase over 2010.
That's what I was referring to. That's the headline this morning. After a push to mobilize new voters, turnout surges in Texas. After an energetic Democratic campaign to get new Texas voters to the polls, turnout rates spiked on the first day of early voting in the state. And this is all Carl-right groups supporting Wendy Davis.
Right. We'll see if that's enough to help her win.
Right.
Let me put it this way with Wendy Davis.
I would be the happiest girl in the world.
Even if Wendy Davis does not win, what she's doing in Texas is extremely important because there's not been a serious statewide candidate in Texas for the Democrats in the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah.
When you don't have a serious Democratic candidate on the ballot for that long, you end up having a severe case of atrophy where the political apparatus that is needed and needs to be organized and routinely used in order to elect people statewide, to even take advantage of an opportunity like Wendy Davis, it just starts to die on a vine. And if you don't build that and nurture it, then you just can't win statewide. So what she's doing, even if she doesn't win, is that she's putting, she's doing the campfire.
She's teeing it up for Hillary to turn Texas blue on election night. So Karl Rove's head explodes on Fox News.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, I hope so. Carl, well, good news anyway. A sliver of hope. We will talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, sounds good.
All right, there he goes.
Yay, Carl Frisch. He's exciting.
Yeah. Goes without saying. 19 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. What? Max does not have ear Ebola. He just has little yeasty ears, and Mama was cleaning them out.
Maybe do that after the show?
Why? I'm home. I'm not going to be any more home after the show.
I had to watch you do that yesterday out there.
Yeah.
So, this is I don't want to touch you.
Yeah, you do not want him to take care of you if you get Ebola. He's very squeamish out there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's gross.
Whatever.
I'm squeamish after yesterday's podcast.
Are you still traumatized by the Frangelist podcast? Because that was epic.
She made a... she made a face that I
don't see why we can't do little teases about what's on it.
Well, you don't want to give away everything that happened in the...
I just can't erase that from my memory.
I can't erase that. It is going to ruin my love life, I think.
She did what Marcus Bachman couldn't do to you.
Right.
Don't want to spoil the surprise.
It's not. You have to see it to believe it.
Yes.
I'm not imitating that.
No.
I am... It's a thing. They have because they've been friends for a long time, and so they have a thing like if they ever have to go to prison for some reason, and they're both straight, but Frances is very nice. She said that she would offer to do certain things.
She's very giving
for Angela in prison, and it involves her face during certain things, and it's just not.
Let's just make this clear right now. If the FCC ever comes for us, I'm not doing that for you.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Okay. At any rate, you can't get that face out of your. Right?
No.
Yeah.
I know somebody's going to freeze frame it and post it.
Yes.
If my eyes start bleeding, it's not Ebola.
Right.
It's that image.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's. Okay. That is one. She's an incredibly straight girl. Okay.
No, but
that's not correct. What she's doing. Okay.
All kidding aside, them reacting to most of the stories you read yesterday.
Right.
Was priceless.
That was awesome.
Yes, I saved all the filthiest stories for them, and their reaction alone was just,
Oh my God.
All right.
Angela especially, she could not deal.
She couldn't even.
No, she literally could not even. She was the little engine that can't.
Just them screaming what and what? That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
So anyway, all right,
I had to
StephanieMiller.com.
normalize that audio like 3 times to get it down to a level that we could deal with.
I was riding the levels real hard yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, and they'll be in on the regular show.
Was it Tuesday?
Next Thursday.
I think
Thursday.
Thursday.
Next
right.
Thursday.
Next Thursday. Okay.
It takes 2 women to replace Jackie.
Yes, exactly. And so the happy hour audio podcast will be posted Friday night, and then video on Saturday like usual.
Tomorrow night.
I'm so excited about this one. I feel like I have this, you know, like you have a gift to give someone you're really excited about.
I went home last night to edit.
I'm like, you give it to me.
I went home last night and was editing the video, and I was actually stopped to watch the video. That's
because it's so good.
Right.
I fixed dinner for my man last night.
I know. We don't mean to be teasy. We're just saying. I feel like I have a great Christmas present for you. And
Halloween present.
Yeah, okay. That's what we'll
Because we talk about Halloween things.
Our Halloween is going to be with Elvira, though.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, so Halloween,
we got a good couple of weeks coming up here, folks.
All right. And one of my other, I can just do little highlights, little teases, because Frances has a child, so we were talking about the teenagers that ran away to join ISIS from Denver, and she said
told you how she'd handle it.
She said I would staple her ass to the house. I'm not saying that the parenting is for everybody. Frances is just saying she would staple her ass to the house for a few years.
We can't even talk about some of the hashtags that were discussed in that show.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be some things, let's say, the kids say trending on Twitter after this podcast drops, as they say in the music business.
Yeah, fans of the show will know what the hashtags they can discuss on Twitter. Yeah. That's for sure.
Right.
And I think those are new tweets or new hashtags that have never been done before.
No, not for the kids. Okay, not safe for work, and not safe for really anything or anyone.
I label it as that now when I post it.
All right. I know what we did. Wait. In fact, we haven't done this yet. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Rutabaga.
Stephanie has to put on her makeup, apparently. She got her makeup case.
Pardon me? This one.
What?
We'll be just in time for Halloween. Clowns. We covered the story. Clowns violently poke family at haunted house with a purple vibrator.
Yep.
It's more clown.
We can't even raise the bar after what was said last night.
But listen, I thought we had covered all the clown news that we could up in, where is it? Where are the rampaging clouds?
In Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't paint Bakersfield in that reputation.
Marauding or marauding. Marauding clowns.
Yes. Holding balloons.
Right.
Just like to point out, it's not Fresno.
Okay. This is, in a lawsuit filed by Regina Janito, mother of two, alleges the two men dressed as clowns terrorized her and her family during a visit to Massacre Haunted House in Illinois, I believe. Montgomery, Illinois?
No,
Montgomery, Alabama, you said yesterday.
I think I got that wrong. I think it's Illinois.
Okay, yes. You were drunk.
It made a lot more sense when it was in Alabama. I'm just going to say.
It really did.
She accuses
Illinois.
One of the clowns of violently poking her daughter with a purple vibrator, while the other one simulated oral sex on a teddy bear with another vibrator strapped to its crotch. So that's
that sounds like an athlete.
And we go over what he said to the little girl on the podcast.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I asked some questions. How was the family dressed? I'm just saying. I'm not saying they were asking for it, but
bent over a pinball machine.
All right, 29 minutes after the hour. First faceplant of the day.
Facepalm.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Stephanie Miller.
Partaking of the grape, were we?
Just a little Merle. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Carlos Alazraqui, comedian extraordinaire for Coffee with Carlos. He is a gallant gentleman, and he switched places with Jackie.
Yeah.
Because Jackie couldn't do today, so there you go.
Jackie had a thing with a guy.
Yeah, well, doesn't Jackie always?
Wearing those shorts, yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, speaking of things from Florida.
Oh.
I love this. The city of South Miami officially calls for South Florida secession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because South Florida is very, very different than North Florida.
They just saw that redneck Riviera off. Just very.
Yeah.
South Miami officials have passed a proposal that would divide Florida into two states. The Vice Mayor said he created the proposal because of growing frustration of Northern Californians' apathy on the effects
Northern
of
Florida.
Northern Florida. What did I say? Yeah, right.
Northern California.
Right. I'm drunk.
Yeah.
On the effects of climate change in South Florida. The sea level is expected to rise 3 to 6 feet in the next 100 years. He said North Florida is approximately 120 feet above sea level, while the average elevation of South Florida is less than 50 feet, and a very large portion of South Florida averaging less than 15 feet above sea level. So, just saying. I just hope they have pedal boats so they can get to the polls to vote for Charlie Crist.
Yeah.
Before.
That needs to happen.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you okay? What's going
I
on?
don't know. Maybe it's the story about the giant spider you sent me. I'm just like, what is that? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that feeling when you read something, then you're just like, what is that feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That just happened to me the other day. I think yesterday, as I was sending you the spider story.
Right. You said it was a daddy longlegs in my...
In your bathroom.
Yeah, and I asked, did you kill it? And you said, no, you did not.
No.
So it's still creeping around here somewhere.
Sure.
So why do you think I'm doing that?
Because you're infested with daddy long
What
legs.
is the point of man if not to kill bugs? I don't...
Well, yeah.
All right. It's the world's...
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people all day are going to be doing that.
Yeah.
The world's largest spider, the Goliath bird eater, is as big as a puppy.
It eats birds. It eats birds.
Right, they are named bird eaters because one was observed eating a hummingbird. And they move fast.
Hummingbirds are fast.
Right.
How did it catch
So it's a fast spider as big as a puppy. Not as cute as a puppy.
No, definitely not.
Scientists say the world's largest spider, the Goliath bird eater, can grow to be the size of a puppy and have legs spanning up to a foot. Yay!
What kind of puppy? A Great Dane puppy or a Chihuahua puppy?
Native to South America, the spiders can weigh more than 6 ounces and have 2-inch fangs. They are not deadly to humans, but their fangs can cause pain, itchiness, and discomfort. Also, you could die of a heart attack. So there's that.
If it ever drops on your shoulder from the tree.
Right. They're not dangerous. They're not dangerous to humans. Really? You think there's one with giant fangs? Who wouldn't have a heart attack? All right.
That could take a chunk out of your head.
Yeah. That's
2-inch fangs.
Did you see the picture of it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So that'll take your mind off Ebola for a minute, won't it?
Yeah. And has a leg span of a foot.
Right. Oof. Exactly. Okay. So I mentioned this to Carl Frisch, who is exciting.
Yes.
And new.
No, not new. The Love Boat was exciting and new.
All right. His jingle sounds like that to me. HuffPost piece, Texas Governor Rick Perry's response to Ebola under scrutiny. We've been talking about this on the phones with callers, but I'm like, what? Seriously? How can you with a straight face say Hurricane Katrina response was all the fault of state and local authorities? And George Bush, the Bush administration had nothing to do with that.
Right.
And now, of course, Rick Perry is gallivanting about Europe, and he's completely blameless in all this. And it clearly is President Obama's fault about what happened at the Dallas hospital.
He did. Rick Perry did come home after the second nurse.
Oh,
became ill.
that was big of him.
That was, yeah.
Yes, Texas Governor Rick Perry quick to criticize the federal government for its initial response to Ebola, but now his administration is facing questions as to why 2 healthcare workers who contracted the disease from a man, obviously the man who died, were allowed to freely travel out of the state without any restriction. Amber Vinson, obviously, took that flight. I didn't hear this before. Health officials in Texas declined her request for a private plane back to Dallas when she learned that her coworker, Nina Pham, had tested positive for Ebola. A lab worker who handled Duncan's biological material was allowed to board that cruise. We heard about that. So I was saying, as Texas politicians like Perry and Ted Cruz point fingers at the Obama administration, amid growing public unease over the crisis, a key detail in the story has been missing. Texas public health officials already had authority to impose quarantine restrictions on persons suspected of having contagious diseases such as Ebola, regardless of CDC recommendations. Had the state used its public health powers more robustly, healthcare workers who treated Duncan might not have been circulating in public, and much of the ensuing panic could have been stilled, the Texas Tribune wrote yesterday. I love this. Perhaps cognizant of this, Perry in early October announced the creation of a task force focused on improving the state's response to potential outbreaks of infectious disease. It was entitled the Closing the Barn Door After the Horse is Gone study.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an idea. How about you don't go to Europe and gallivant for your presidential fiction?
Plump up your foreign policy.
Your already spectacular foreign policy credentials. Yeah. So, I mean, hilarious to me. Okay.
I go.
All right. Lots to get to. Obviously, this stuff in Ottawa is
troubling.
Yeah, that's what that's about.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Toronto yesterday, and he said the country is really, really shaken because nothing like this has ever happened before. They were proud of not having security at their halls of parliament, just on principle, that it was the people's house and all that. And he said that's immediately gone away.
Yeah.
Their sense of innocence is gone.
That's what the piece in the Daily Beast, Terrorist Ends Canada's Innocence. One of their prominent writers up there.
Yeah.
Political writer wrote, Canada has just lost her innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about with the whether it was the girls from Denver or whatever, that's part of the the terror. It's not necessarily large scale 9/11 attacks that I think are what are most worrisome. It's all these what do you call
Lone
it?
wolf.
Right, lone wolf inspired attacks.
Right.
Like this. This obviously just had happened. The guy that ran his car into comes 2 days after police
in Montreal.
Killed a Muslim convert in Quebec after he had hit two soldiers with his car in a parking lot.
Right.
So who knows if this guy was inspired by that guy or anyway. But multiple shootings obviously rocked Ottawa yesterday, bringing Canada's capital to a halt. Ottawa police confirmed there were shots fired at locations in close proximity to one another, the National War Memorial and Parliament Hill. One Canadian soldier shot and killed in the attacks, obviously. Somebody had spotted a man in black with a scarf over his face running towards Parliament. And so when this came down, Jackie was here with us yesterday when the news broke, and she was saying you don't want to speculate too soon, but it sounded like an ISIS type of...
Yeah, the Prime Minister said last night it was terrorism.
Right. Here is Stephen Harper.
Attacks on our security personnel and on our institutions of governance are, by their very nature, attacks on our country, on our values, on our society, on us Canadians, as a free and democratic people who embrace human dignity for all. But let there be no misunderstanding. We will not be intimidated. Canada will never be intimidated.
The White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest addressed the shooting. He spoke of the strong relationship between the United States and Canada as a strong partnership and friendship and alliance. He said U.S. government officials have been talking with their Canadian counterparts. The White House arranged a call between Obama and the Prime Minister, President Obama, yesterday.
Obviously, the situation there is tragic. Just 2 days ago, a Canadian soldier had been killed in an attack. We now know that another young man was killed today, and I expressed on behalf of the American people our condolences to the family and to the Canadian people as a whole.
Yeah, that incident, what he was talking about, the man, when he was shot and killed by police after he struck two members of the Canadian military, that was the one I was saying near Montreal. He reportedly become influenced by radical Islam. Royal Canadian Mounted Police spokesman said the suspect was known to federal authorities, and authorities were concerned that he had become radicalized. A neighbor said he had stopped wearing jeans and started wearing a tunic when he changed, and that he changed over the last year, was alone a lot. Another neighbor said that he converted to Islam a little over a year ago. And, they're comparing it to the case in London last year where again, lone wolf, Al-Qaeda-inspired extremists and another member, they hit that soldier and then hacked him to death on the street.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and this is what terrorism is, because then those pictures, of course, went around the world.
And inspired other people, unfortunately.
Yeah, the president again.
We don't yet have all the information about what motivated the shooting. We don't yet have all the information about whether this was part of a broader network or plan, or whether this was an individual or a series of individuals who decided to take these actions. But it emphasizes the degree to which we have to remain vigilant when it comes to dealing with these kinds of acts of senseless violence or terrorism.
As an animal lover, I think we should stop smearing wolves like that. I don't think we should refer to them as lone wolves.
Lone platypus?
Wolves are just doing what they do. They're not terrorists. They're just doing what, just saying. What do wolves do in the wild? And my point is, Chris, is there are two wolves inside each of us. My point is, the story is there are two wolves inside, a good wolf and a bad wolf. Which one wins, Chris? The one you feed. And more wisdom from my spinning class as we continue. 45.
You have got to... Oh, really?
Feed the right wolf.
They scream that at you in your spinning class?
You know why you react badly? Because you're feeding the wrong wolf. All right, 45 minutes after the hour.
Oh, my God. That is awful.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
I just saw your mug.
This hour of the Stephanie Miller Show brought to you by Citrix GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating with your team online from anywhere. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try It Free button for your free 30-day trial. Do it. 50 minutes after the hour, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 1-800-STEPH1 to the phone number. Donald in Illinois, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Yes, hi, Steph.
Hi.
You know, this business going on in Texas, that really gets me so angry because it seems like the politicians, the Republican politicians or the voters, never seem to pay a price, but we end up doing it for them. Across this nation, it's happening. If this is so great, you would think that would give a leg up to Wendy Davis, but I bet you it doesn't. And
well, I don't know. These early voting turnout numbers are exactly what the Republicans fear. You know, they've really done a great job mobilizing, Wendy Davis voters there. So we'll see.
I hope so. But by the way, do you have a clip of that Michael Savage, what he said about the veterans?
I heard something about that. I try not to pay attention, but what did he say?
Well, it was a lot of things. I mean, he was literally just undermining their efforts, calling them they're all losers, saying that they're always trying to get $1 out of the government because it's PTSD.
Wow.
He really let them have it. And you know something? It should wake up the veterans because I'm both I am a veteran and I am also a senior citizen. I got drafted in '66 and got out in '68. And maybe this will wake up some of my fellow veterans that voted Republican. 58% of them did.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would keep playing this. Maybe it'll waken them up too to find out this is the mindset of the Republican voters and the Republican Party. And to think that it's only Michael Savage, maybe they'll open their eyes to understand that he could say, because he's a radio host, a talk show host, he's saying what the politicians are afraid to say, but feel the same way he does.
Yeah, I mean, Donald, I agree with you about these memes, like, the military always votes Republican, they're all conservative, and I don't know if you, Charlie Pierce was talking about this veteran that's running, I think, in Massachusetts, and, who just is so humble and didn't want to, publicize his war heroics. And he said, he got emotional saying, it was my honor to lead the men in my platoon, even though none of us agreed with these wars. I mean, it's so, yeah, I mean, by the way, I don't know that every veteran is a fan of getting sent into unnecessary wars. I mean, if Iraq didn't, puncture that meme, I don't know what will, right?
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Well, I remember my fellow veterans, what we did. We were even afraid to wear our uniforms back home. And not only that, there was a lot of us throwing medals back at Washington. Not congressional, but, regular, like, service medals and that sort of thing, Bronze Stars. And plus, Kerry was one of the ones that went up against a committee, and I mentioned this before, against the committee, and told them how wrong the Vietnam War was. He really blasted them, and I was so happy. I was actually jumping out of my chair and screaming about that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, Donald, I appreciate it. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have to suss up that Michael Savage audio. I had heard about that. I try not to listen because he's crazy.
He is crazy.
Yes.
Yes, and he adds nothing to the political discourse of America.
Right. Pat in Wisconsin, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Pat.
Hey, Steph. I usually am at school at this time, but I have an appointment, so I'm home to listen.
Hooray!
I have had this idea. Now, I work at a 2,000-student high school, so I kind of know how they think a little bit. And the ones that have graduated, the millennials, think the same way. Could we get a campaign going to push a selfie Tuesday for Election Day? Take a selfie while you're at the polling place, not inside, of course. Bring a friend, take group selfies, anything you want, and post it. Let's get the millennials a little more excited about this because they're kind of the key to the election.
You're right. Any opportunity to take a selfie. You know what? If we can trick them into it, let's do it.
Yeah, so promote it a little bit.
All right.
Because here in Wisconsin, we need every vote for Mary Burke we can get.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. What's the latest polling,
47-47.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So it's all depending on the turnout. I mean, we got to get a ground game going and, man the phones and all these things.
By the way, the very first sexy liberal was in, Madison, as you know, to get rid of Scott Walker.
Yeah.
Nothing would make me happier.
Oh, hey. He's done so much to myself and public employees.
I know.
I don't even have a union anymore because it was dissolved.
Yeah. No, you remember that was the first sexy liberal cause to recall Walker, and we got a bunch of those Republicans. We got 4 of them?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is that a part of Act 10, some little sneaky things he slipped in to balance the budget, is that we can't register our 18-year-olds at schools anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that really balanced the budget. Obviously, it was to repress young people's voting.
Absolutely.
And we used to do that all the time. The social studies teachers would get together and get them to register because you get them young, you get them early, and maybe they'll continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're absolutely right. Turn out, especially in places like Wisconsin.
Don't be Tuesday.
All right. Let's get rid of that cross-eyed moho.
Yeah. And also, remember, huh? What?
He always looks like he's been hit with a plank right before he goes, because his eyes are always a little right? Governor Walker coming to you in 3, 2... He always seems a little stunned, like a little something, just right between the eyes.
Right. And remember, Jackie Schechner mentioned Move On's effort yesterday to help get the vote out.
Yes.
All you need is a phone and a computer to call.
Actually, I brought that up.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was Jackie.
Yes, I'm here every day. Right. No, I did. Remember, our friends sent us the link.
Oh, yeah.
They were at the Free Speech TV lunch with. That was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was you?
Hi.
You're
Hi. I'm here every day. How you doing?
Well, we put a link to it up at your Facebook page yesterday, and so I encourage everybody to go out there and help get the vote out.
Okay. All right. But Jackie's younger and hotter. Okay. Just, but don't give her credit for everything. That was me. Okay. Oh, we found the, delightful. We found the Michael Savage audio?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a veteran getting ready to vote, there we go.
I am so sick and tired of everyone with their complaints about PTSD, depression. Everyone wants their hand held in a check, a government check.
Oh, God.
What, are you the only generation that PTSD? The only generation that's depressed? I'm sick of it. I can't take the celebration of weakness and depression.
Oh, my God.
See, I was raised a little differently. I was raised to fight weakness. I was raised to fight pain. I was raised to fight depression, not to give into it. Not to cave into it and cry like a little baby in bed. Wow! Boo-hoo-hoo! Everyone has depression in their life. Everyone has sickness and sadness and disease and loss of relatives and loss of career. Everyone has depression in their life. But if the whole nation is told, boo-hoo-hoo, come and get a medication, come and get treatment, talk about mental illness, you know what you wind up with? You wind up with Obama in the White House and liars in every phase of the government.
Wow.
Wow. Nicely done, sir. Yes. Right. Boo-hoo-hoo. George Bush sent me into an illegal war, and I got my legs blown off. Wow. Boo-hoo. All right. PTSD not the same as just regular depression.
And depression is not the same as being sad.
Right. Wow.
Oh, my God.
I'm never disappointed. When someone tells me, did you hear what Michael Savage said? I'm never disappointed. What a complete fool he is. All right. Let's all pause and recover from that. And then, just another cautionary tale.
Oh?
Well, like my mother used to say whenever I would go visit New York City, I would grow up in Buffalo, just watch your purse. Be careful.
Yeah.
Woman steals Rolex from New York tourists and hides it in her vagina. So that's the new thing you need to watch for. Literally, watch.
Get it. Oh.
Okay. 58 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller. Oh, boy. Okay. Just the boys having a little tiny breakdown. Okay. 6 minutes after the hour. You're overdue for your vacation, aren't you? Aren't you, Skippy?
It's been a stressful time.
All right. Wildly entertaining, though.
Oh, great.
As was the Happy Hour podcast yesterday with Frangela, who are off-the-hook hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some quote about reindeer? Ain't all that? Something. Francis said something about that. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yes.
Oh, God.
There'll be a bunch of memes. I think we created a bunch of hashtags that will be trending, as the kids say.
Yes.
When that gets released.
that really
audio
was...
Friday night, video Saturday.
Yeah, that really was the best happy hour podcast we've done so far.
I hate to say it. It's, because then you feel like you're disrespecting all the other fabulous people.
Everybody else was fabulous.
Right. I don't know, something. It was, it was the reunion.
It was the reunion. It's the first time we've seen each other in a few years.
Right.
And, they came to play.
Yeah,
they weren't apprehensive about cursing or anything.
No, oh no.
Yeah.
Well, it took me. I took a little bit of gin in Francis, but off the hook.
It was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in studio with us a week from today.
On the regular show.
On the regular show.
There you go.
Yeah.
1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. The star of the very first happy hour, which was so filthy, it caused people to sign up in droves. Carlos Alzraki, line hour number 3, who is, he's wrong on so many levels. It's on the regular show, on the happy hour.
Yeah.
He goes dark sometimes.
He works blue.
Yeah, which I love. All right, so lots to get to. Carlos on his way in. Yep. Linda in Florida. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I love you both.
Thank you.
I just had a couple of things. One was the Huffington Post.
Yes.
Was saying how much money Karl Rove and the Super PAC put in $19.9 million into these last 2 weeks of the election.
Wow.
And all the big companies that are jumping on board, like Coca-Cola and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the percentage down here, they are dead even, 44%. And if it's that close, they're going to steal it.
Yeah.
We need people in Broward County to wake up and, hey, get out and vote.
Linda, has that ever happened in Florida before? I don't recall. Yeah, if you have, Bush v. Gore, PTSD, that's absolutely right. I mean, Jackie was saying that yesterday. I mean, it's absolutely tied up. And, yeah.
Well, another thing, Steph, is Chris Matthews isn't helping our cause. He's saying women now that they're afraid because they put the fear out there amongst the people that they're going to go vote Republican. No, they're not.
Why is he saying they're going to vote Republican? Women.
Because of the fear factor, that women feel more comfortable with Republicans in charge. No, they don't.
Oh, my God, that's sexist. That is sexist.
You mean like Rick Perry in Texas, where we've had the only Ebola outbreak? Right.
Yeah, I feel safe with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, thank you, honey. Not fair enough. Anthony in Washington, D.C. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Chris. How y'all doing?
Mm-hmm. Good. Go ahead.
In reference to the Michael Savage, why don't they just put it on YouTube and let it go viral? Because that's exactly what the Republicans would do.
That's how I got it. It was on YouTube.
Oh, it was. Okay, because the only other thing is the Democrats, they have to stop running away from the president. Highlight his successes and talk about what you disagree with and keep going. But don't sit there and say you can't tell who you want to vote for, who you voted for.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Anthony, I sometimes honestly feel like I'm in a parallel universe. I look at the, actual numbers of the things that President Obama's accomplished, and I don't get it. I don't get how Republicans have been able to hijack the mainstream media, because clearly it's showing up in his approval ratings, and I feel like I'm crazy some days.
What did Val Patrick say a couple of years ago for the Democrats? Get a spine, and grow up.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Right.
Take care.
All right, honey. You too. Pat in Illinois, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Pat.
How you doing, Steph?
Good. Go ahead.
I'm just calling. I want to thank you because I started listening to your show probably within the past 6 to 8 months here.
Okay.
I'm also a veteran.
Okay.
And for the first time in 10 years, actually registered Democrat.
Yay.
Wow. Yay. Thank you.
So, yeah, due to you guys, I've actually become a lot more involved, a lot more informed about what's going on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I still do have friends that I was in with who are hardcore right-wing.
Sure.
Right.
And it really just shames me to see. It's all like, what can we find to blame Obama for?
Yeah, maybe we should post that Michael Savage thing. You can send that around to your veteran fence. Say this is your your support on the from the Republican side.
We'll post that up at Stephanie Miller's Show Facebook page.
I'll be sure and share it with everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, honey, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Karen in Houston, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Karen. Hey, Karen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
I just wanted to call. I'm actually Kayla. I'm in Houston. I go to the University of Houston, and we have been organizing and getting students to the polls. We rented a 36-person party bus.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
Have been taking students to the polls from U of H, and we also have a HBCU called Texas State. I'm sorry, not Texas State, Texas Southern. We've been doing it there, too.
Right. Oh, good.
So we're doing our part to get everybody out there because I'm black and I'm a woman. And if you're black and or a woman in in Texas, and Wendy Davis is not governor, we're all screwed.
Hey, if you're a carbon-based life form in Texas and you don't want to get blown up by a fertilizer plant or get Ebola, I would vote for Wendy Davis. Not to put too fine a point on it.
Right. So we're getting out there. Wendy, women for Wendy, everybody for Wendy. If you're not 1%, I don't know why you wouldn't vote for her.
Yeah. God, wouldn't that be that would be the greatest, because they've written that race off already, and that would be the greatest surprise. So yeah, go Wendy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. All right, there we go. Yay, Wendy Davis.
All right.
I'm going to read her book. I just got it.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That Michael Savage audio has been posted to the Stephanie Miller Show Facebook page.
Thank you. Aren't you efficient? Despite your nervous breakdown. So, just to take our minds briefly off, ISIS, terrorism, Ottawa, Ebola.
Okay.
At least, I'm still wearing my watch.
You are? Mm-hmm. It hasn't been shoved up someone's scooter.
No. Days young. Woman steals Rolex from New York tourist, hides it in her vagina. After an Australian tourist.
They're the worst.
They're notoriously gullible. Took a woman back to his hotel room. She snatched his...
No, it doesn't say that, does it?
Yes, she snatched it. His $25,000 Rolex and hid it in her vagina. He met her at a bar.
Look at you. You have a Rolex.
Look at you. You brought a Rolex to a bar in your vagina. Took her back to his room at the Holiday Inn on West 26th Street around 4:30 a.m. Sunday. Yeah, nothing good happens after 3 a.m. Okay. As the pair got cozy,
as you do,
she complained to him that his Rolex was scratching her, so he took it off and placed it on the nightstand. 10 minutes later, he noticed the watch was gone and asked where it had gone. Maybe it fell behind the nightstand, she replied. Quick thinking. After searching the hotel room, he went after Timms, who was in the lobby. She punched him several times in the face and tried to flee the hotel. Finally, she owned up and pulled the Rolex out of her. Here.
So it was covered with slime?
I hope he had that jewelry cleaner, that green stuff hand.
Yeah. Is it covered with slime or whatever?
I don't know. Slime? It's not the pink slime from the meat problem.
Or the green slime from Ghostbusters.
Right, it's not that.
No?
Okay, let's just giving you a cautionary tale.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you. Brian in Michigan, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Brian.
Stephanie, Chris, how y'all doing this morning?
Good.
Good, Brian.
Good.
I am PO'd badly. Bad enough that that a-hole, said Obama's responsible for this Ebola thing, but how dare he insult people who've been in a war?
Right.
That guy ever served in a combat zone?
No.
Never.
Yes,
Never.
Michael Savage weirdly did not serve.
At all. Not a day.
No.
What a surprise.
Yep.
Almost everybody in Bush's administration started the stupid war in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
How dare that guy, compared to someone's got a disease like alcoholism or something like that. How dare he do that?
Yeah.
These people getting killed next to him, and this guy talks about, boo-hoo. Oh,
yeah.
Man, I've never...
Well, yeah, like they're just sad. I mean, what was the quote I read? They just put up that new memorial in Washington, and it said, in war, there are no unwounded soldiers. And I think that's really true, don't you?
Exactly. I mean, I've never served. I was PO'd for anybody who has. I mean, how could, any Republican, I'm assuming, any conservative who's serving in the military to hear that and not be absolutely outraged.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not surprising given the source, but anyway. Dana, sorry. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't hit that right.
It's still being screened.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. All right. All right. So the latest on Ottawa.
Oh, boy.
Entirely different.
Yes.
A fundamentally quiet and orderly town. Ottawa was rocked by the shooting yesterday, of course, of a uniformed Canadian soldier as he stood guard over the National War Memorial. Located right across the street from Parliament Hill and the Prime Minister's offices. And as we were talking about, it was the second attack inside Canada this week. So we don't know if this one was a copycat of the other one, or...
will we ever know? I don't know.
The shootings came just 2 days after a 25-year-old man that the police described as a radicalized Muslim drove his car into two Canadian soldiers in the city outside Montreal, killing one, seriously injuring the other. Earlier this month, the House of Commons voted to approve an anti-ISIS air combat role for Canada. One purported ISIS fighter from Canada praised the last guy, and encouraged others to follow suit with violence. Whether this incident is connected or not has been a week of violence never before seen in Canadian political history. I was saying one of their most prominent political writers wrote, Canada has just lost her innocence.
Yeah.
Jim Watson, the Ottawa mayor, yesterday.
There's no pain greater than losing a loved one. To have it happen in such circumstances as this morning is beyond expression and underlined by a sad anger within my heart.
I think this guy was actually shot by the sergeant at arms.
Sergeant at arms inside Parliament Hill.
They actually are armed. The sergeant. I thought it was just a ceremonial thing.
I didn't either, but apparently he's a big hero in this situation.
Yeah. The head of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
This is a dynamic and unfolding situation. What I can tell you right now is that all available and necessary resources were activated and deployed immediately when we became aware of the incident. They will continue to be here for as long as they're needed.
Okay, so all the latest on that. Coffee with Carlos Alzaraki, much more as we continue on the... Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 23 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Craig in Michigan, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Craig.
Hi.
Hi.
I had a question about Democrats in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
How could Gary Peters be winning the Senate race?
Who?
How could Gary Peters be winning the Senate race?
In Michigan.
Uh-huh.
In Michigan and losing the governor's race?
He's running for both at the same time?
No. I'm just had a question for Democrats in general.
Oh.
How could they vote for Snyder and Gary Peters at the same time?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Snyder ahead?
Yes.
Yeah.
8 points.
Okay, so that's pretty comfortable.
Yeah. I don't know. He's awful from what I know about him, but it is interesting. I mean, I think I keep saying this, like, not to buy the Beltway wisdom, because they're so wrong most of the time. And Dean Obadal was on yesterday talking about in Jersey, it looks like Cho may pull off an upset, and that doesn't make sense to me, because the Tea Party guy he's running against seems so out of step with
New Jersey values.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But you never know. Some districts go cattywampus. Who knows why?
Oh yeah, and the New Jersey suburbs, they can be conservative. They can be pretty conservative.
By the way, we were talking about what happened in Ottawa. Why do I keep saying now I want to make it Idaho? It's not Idaho, it's not Iowa. Ottawa,
yes.
Oh, boy. I hope I haven't caused a panic. Stephanie Miller says Idaho got attacked right after Iowa. Pardon me, I am...
drunk.
Yes. The Pentagon confirming that Islamic State group militants were able to seize one of the 28 bundles of weapons and medical supplies dropped to Kurdish forces. At least it was just one.
1 out of 28 ain't bad, I suppose. But we're arming our enemies.
Right.
We keep doing that.
Well, this way they're not falling into the wrong hands. We're just putting them directly into the wrong hands.
Into their hands.
So
yes.
that's
wrapping a bow around them.
Oh, Yves. All right.
Would you like that gift wrap? Sure.
Sure. Why, thanks. Okay. Back to the situation.
Do you need a gift receipt?
The situation in Ottawa,
Yeah.
the Canadian MP.
One of the Canadian MPs.
Right.
We've been told to keep all doors locked, lower blinds, stay away from windows, that there may still be a gunman on the street outside.
Yeah, there was a picture taken inside one of the hearing rooms on Parliament Hill, and they had all kinds of furniture, up against the door. It kind of looked like, a movie.
Well, because when it broke while we were on the air yesterday, you don't know what's happening, or how many gunmen, or,
Right.
And so, it was panic, and plus Canada is so unaccustomed to this.
Yeah.
An Ottawa police spokesman yesterday.
We've set up a perimeter that prohibits individuals from going onto Parliament Hill, and there's an ongoing operation with the RCMP and our Ottawa Police Service to clear Parliament Hill to make sure that it's safe for everybody.
What was I going to say? An Ottawa journalist that was there was describing what the scene was like.
It appears that the gunfire broke out in the foyer, just at the entrance of that door, and moved down the hallway to the north towards the Library of Parliament. There was a second round of gunfire just in front of the Library of Parliament, and at that point I saw a body sort of slump down. Obviously I can confirm, but it certainly looked like this.
Yeah. And then here is a montage of witnesses.
Well, we were working on the statue and heard a bunch of pops. I thought it was just firecrackers going off. So I look across the street, and there's a man with a rifle shooting at a bunch of people.
And all of a sudden, I just heard a shot, turned around, and there was a guy with a rifle just around on the back corner, and just pow.
I heard 5 shots. I happened to see the last 4 shots at the last second. All I remember was he was wearing a light fall jacket, jeans, black hat, and boots. He was about 6 feet tall. And really, that was about it. And then a bunch of cops came up and down the street.
Boy, here's some good news. Jury issues guilty verdicts for Blackwater guards. You remember this?
Yeah.
4 former Blackwater security guards were convicted Wednesday in 2007 shootings of more than 30 Iraqis in Baghdad.
Good.
An incident that inflamed anti-American sentiment around the globe. The men claimed self-defense, but federal prosecutors argue that they had shown a grave indifference to the carnage their actions would cause. Because that was in our name.
Yep, that's what you get when you have mercenary army instead of an army.
Right. By the way, we were talking about a lot of these governors' races. Somebody was saying Mary Burke very much in the running against Scott Walker. Pardon me?
Walker.
Right.
Walker, barely know her.
Right. Chris Christie. He's head of the Governors Association.
Is he really?
I guess.
Oh God.
He said the GOP needed to win governors' races to control the voting mechanisms within the states. Yes, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Uh-huh.
He said, would you rather have Rick Scott in Florida overseeing the voting mechanism or Charlie Crist? Oh, I can answer that. Charlie Crist. Would you rather have Scott Walker in Wisconsin overseeing the voting mechanism, or would you rather have Mary Burke? Mary Burke, thanks for asking. The GOP is facing surprisingly strong opponents in governor's races while it has multiple voter ID bills being challenged in courts. Republicans say the bills are necessary to curtail voter fraud, though they've struggled to find actual instances of it.
Controlling the voting mechanism, that sounds ominous.
Yes, it means making sure less people vote that might vote for Democrats. 29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. Coffee with Carlos Alzraki coming up in hour number 3. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. By the way, someone finally sent us this that we were talking about from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes, this is Jeannie Bueller. Talking about Ebola.
Right.
I can't believe this. If I was bleeding out my eyes, you guys would make me go to school. This is so unfair.
Oh, boy. Uh-huh. All right, so by the way, more good news on the Ebola front.
Okay.
A Spanish woman is free of Ebola, if you've heard that. The Spanish nursing assistant infected with Ebola is cured of the virus. Here's the bad part. She doesn't know that they killed her dog. She still does not know that they approved the killing of her dog Excalibur. Instead of isolating the pet. By the way, but guess the other good news? Bentley. He's Ebola free. The nurse's dog here, remember? Nina Pham's dog.
Yes, the spaniel.
Yes.
Of sorts.
The King Charles Spaniel.
Yes, I was going to say Springer, but I knew that was wrong.
There's a picture of him online. He had one eye like this. The chest back yet? One eye was going that way. I'm okay?
Spaniels often have googly eyes.
One eye looked really nervous and really googly. Test results yet? It's like how you feel because your doctor won't call you back about your blood test results.
Still?
Yeah. You have Ebola. Anyway. Yay, Bentley. What's his name?
It's not Brantley.
Bentley.
That was...
Oh, no, that's the doctor.
The superhero Ebola doctor.
Yes.
Who keeps giving people his blood and curing people.
Right. I need some. Something's going on with me. I think I might have mercury poisoning again. Yeah. Okay.
When did that happen? That happened when you were in New York. What, didn't it?
No.
No?
No. All right.
Or is that just depression?
You can say. Or just another side effect of my disastrous decisions in my life. I don't know. Who can say?
Yeah.
All right. So in the meantime, Homeland Security Department has ordered new screening for Ebola. There's a couple of things. Anyone coming into the U.S. from obviously those 3 West African countries must enter the country through one of 5 airports screening passengers for the deadly disease. I think that's a good step. Also, all people returning to the United States from Ebola-affected countries will undergo 21-day monitoring. The CDC announced yesterday. Travelers arriving from Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone let's see, will be given a home kit with a thermometer and Ebola information so they can self-monitor and report to the CDC. If they do not report, officials will track them down.
Oh, we will track you down.
It's a little
ominous. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So we've been talking about the Mary Burke race. I'm calling it the Mary Burke race because it's going to be Governor Mary Burke is what I'm saying.
Where's this one again? I'm sorry.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay.
Against Scott Wanker.
Yes.
Right. This will help. The RNC co-chair, Sharon Day, spoke at a Republican field office in Wisconsin, where obviously Governor Wanker is up for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
And said she said it's not going to be an easy election. It's a close election. Like I said, much closer than I can even understand why. I don't want to say anything about your Wisconsin voters, but some of them might not be as sharp as a knife. Oh, nicely done. Some Wisconsin voters not very sharp. Just too dumb to realize that they should vote for Scott Walker. That's always good to insult the electorate right before an election.
Yeah, the cheese is sharper than the electorate.
Hey, speaking of insulting the electorate, so I'm just saying maybe more evidence that God is a Democrat, as I have frequently posited. Right?
Yeah.
Right when, like, Bobby Jindal was saying volcano monitoring, that's silly. When does that ever happen? It's right behind it. I'm just saying. So right on cue, Michael Savage insults veterans.
Yeah.
Right before the election. And Greg got the people from the Five, Greg Gutfield, Kimberly Guilfoyle.
And Kimberly Guilfoyle, yeah.
A little insulting to women voters?
Yeah.
With age comes wisdom. And it's a known fact that the older that you get, the more conservative you get. And I always tell young people, you don't have to wait to become a conservative. Don't waste your time.
The same reason why young women on juries are not a good idea. They don't get it.
Right.
They're not in that same life experience of paying the bills, doing the mortgage, kids, community, crime, education, health care. They're like healthy and hot and running around without a care in the world. Excuse them so they can go back on Tinder or Match.com.
Wow. Young women shouldn't be on juries.
Right. And they were basically saying young women shouldn't vote because they don't know anything about the world.
Right. Because they tend to vote for
Democrats.
Right.
God, could they be more transparent?
Just you get back on Tinder.
Yeah. Go
dollface.
Fiddle with your apps. Go find a man.
Co in California, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Co.
Hi, Stephanie. This is Joe. J-O-E.
Hey,
yes.
Joe.
Earlier you were talking about the lady called in and was saying that women are going to vote Republican. That's an AP poll that came out yesterday.
It's Chris Matthews. She said Chris Matthews said that.
Women are going to vote Republican. 42 are going to vote Democrat.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it again, Co. What were the numbers you said?
44% of women are going to vote Republican. 42 Democrat. And the main reasons were ISIS and Ebola. Afraid.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's pretty close, right? I mean, that's pretty equally divided, and you don't know how it's going to play out. Depends on who turns out, right?
Is that equally divided? Don't women normally vote Democrat?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. In every election, it obviously varies somewhat. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping they're wrong, because we lose the women, we lose the Hispanic vote. These ties are going to start going to the Republicans.
Right. Yeah. I hope not too. I agree. I mean, I said they do this every time. They tend to fearmonger, and I hope that people are going to calm down,
gentle down
before.
Yes.
I could. Okay. Once again, logic, people. I don't. That if that is true, I don't. I mean, polling again. You never know. As you said, generic polls sometimes are bull.
Well, they are.
But my point is, okay. So if you're Republicans are the ones that have cut the funding for stuff like vaccines and I don't know CDC preparedness and stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a Republican governor in Texas where this one hospital, the one place we've had one person die is a Republican. So I don't.
And I'm heartened by that survey that we read earlier this morning from Texas, that a lot of people are getting out and voting.
Turnout. That Wendy Davis's machine is, and again, Carl said you don't know if she's going to win, but she's mobilizing a lot of Democratic voters.
I hope that's going to be repeated across the country, that a lot more people are turning out to vote than what we originally thought.
Speaking of studies, a Pew study says liberals are more likely to unfriend or block someone over politics on Facebook.
That might be true.
Roughly 4 in 10 consistent liberals on Facebook, 44% say they have blocked or defriended someone on social media because they disagreed with something that person posted about politics. That compares with 31% of consistent conservatives. Now, I'm not on Facebook.
No.
The show is. I'm not on personally. But in my experience, the friends I know that have done that, it's because whatever the right-wing thing was horribly racist or something that was really offensive to them. Racist or homophobic or something, So I'm just saying, is it the liberals are more sensitive, or that it's the stuff that,
I've done it, but it's not because of anything that was racist or anything. It's that I couldn't debate with the person.
Right.
They were completely rigid and locked in and weren't willing to...
Like the people that call the show and tell me to shut up on my own show.
Exactly.
And why won't you just listen?
Exactly. They weren't willing to have a dialogue. They're just there to beat you into submission with their opinion. And that's not the kind of person I want to, have a discussion with.
Right. Maybe our life is too short thing is... the life is too short kind of meter is a little shorter than theirs.
That could be.
Yeah.
But yes, I have unfriended people.
I mean, just my friends that have told me. It's like, the watermelon's on the White House. Okay, unfriend.
I'm not friends with anybody who would post anything like that.
Right.
But, I used to work at a right-wing station, and, there were some people I was having some Obamacare debates with during that whole thing. Yeah. And they beat me into submission with their opinion. And
my version would be emails with family members. It's just like some point, like, you know what, I can't turn everything into a political discussion.
Yeah.
And this is what I do for a living. And I'm like, I can't. Maybe it's because it's what I do for a living. I don't want to have these endless.
Right. Because you do that at work.
Yes.
You don't want to do work at home or in your free time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to
drink, then cry, then quit.
Exactly. All right. Thank you. I see Carlos is
He is here. I got a text from him saying he's probably already in the green room.
Okay. That's exciting. 45 minutes after the hour. Right back with Coffee with Carlos on The Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 48 minutes after the hour. Why?
That's good coffee.
I take it back, like my man.
Coffee with Carlos sells Rocky.
I have a Zimbabwe latte. I'll have a Kenya cappuccino.
Jimmy never has a second cup of coffee at home. Mountain grown coffee.
Carlos sells Rocky.
I was going to make espresso.
Handpicked by Juan Valdez.
Coffee with Carlos. Good to the last drop.
As happy as we always are to see Carlos, who's the happiest? Max and Fred.
Max and Fred, Lusitania and Titanic.
Both of them sank.
Max looks forward to that so much. He does it right in his face. He does the ocean water.
Comes right up to me like a killer whale at SeaWorld. No fish for you.
Just don't sit in the splash zone.
I was just going to say, you're missing the birds.
I got some new headphones.
Yeah, very
like raising our... We're having decent friends over.
Now,
set out the proper headphones. We're having good company.
Congratulations on another successful escape from Vagina Island.
I did. Oh,
now,
my God.
What, as you know, we are not parents. What would the punishment be if your kids decided to run off and join ISIS at some point, like the teenage girls from Denver?
The punishment would be no black clothing purchased by me. You want black clothing? Let them buy you black clothing. Huh? You want to look slimming? Join ISIS.
Yeah, that was a disturbing story for parents of teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went and joined ISIS. What was their punishment? I knew that the girls took off.
Well, there's no prosecution because they're underage, but they actually flew to Turkey, as kids do, to go join ISIS
with their passports.
Right. Yeah.
Turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Turkey?
Right.
Wow. Yeah, I would say no allowance. I am not sending you. I'm not wiring money West Virginia.
He's one of those permissive liberal parents.
Yeah. I am just.
I am so. Your mother and I are so disappointed.
You are going to have a curfew over there in Turkey, my friend. Why would you join?
I don't know. Mike in West Virginia, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Mike.
Good morning, Carlos. Good morning, Chris. And hey there, little lady.
Hello. Why, hello.
Hey there, young lady. Hey there, little lady.
Yes.
How you doing there, Chicky Poo?
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right.
So I was watching Chris Matthews,
yes.
as I sometimes do, and I'm generally a fan. Never in the history of my life have I ever called to complain on the voicemail, but I did last night because I thought we're talking about this recent poll that came out, which is ridiculous, and he keeps quoting it as if this and the Canadian.
Right, that all women are like delicate and easily panicked into voting for Republicans, right?
Yes, yeah, like, oh, I have to run to the waiting arms of this ideological douchebag.
Right, right.
It's awful. It's just so awful. It was so frustrating because he's not helping.
Yeah.
He's not helping at all.
Yeah, he's referring to this poll that, whatever, like everybody goes crazy in the Beltway over one poll that I guess it's 44% of women say they're going to vote Republican, 42% Democrat because of fears of ISIS and Ebola.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
And Republicans could stop it how? By starting it all over again, by invading another country, which pretty much started ISIS?
Right. Yes. Republicans got us into the war that created ISIS, and they're the ones that cut the funding for things like Ebola vaccines and, CDC preparedness.
I'm glad you said Ebola. It was fading. Ebola, Ebola, Ebola,
Right.
Ebola, 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 Ebola.
Okay. I can't believe this. If I was bleeding out my eyes, you guys would make me go to school. This is so unfair.
Right. Steve in Chicago, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show with Carlos.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Listening to you folks chat about people unfriending on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not on it, but my wife is. She used to live down in North Carolina, so she has a lot of friends from down there. And she shows me the things that they are posting. And Chris is right. There is no discussion with them, and it's just blatant lie that they're blaming Obama for Ebola, and he's letting it into the country, and it's just, and she's just like, I can't, no, I'm just not even going to have these people on here. They're spreading crap.
Yeah. I was pleased with the guy, Savage, I think, from Fox, who put out a piece, like a 3-minute piece on Ebola, and he said, look, scrap all the politics, scrap all the blame. Here are the facts about it.
Wasn't Savage.
Well, who was it? It was a gentleman
Shepard Smith.
Shepard Smith. I
Yes.
thought that was a very,
very different.
I applauded Fox for that. Good for him.
Well, he's the only one that tends to, I'm not sure how he must have pictures of somebody. I don't know how he.
Well, he comes
totters
in the
into
office
sanity.
dressed like Lou Dobbs, and then he just peels his face back.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they think he's Lou
I thought it
Dobbs.
was Lou. Hey.
Okay, let's go to Kevin in D.C. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Kev.
Well, good morning, lovely Stephanie. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
And I'd say tied for Jim as best voice.
Pardon me?
Person.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Jim's pretty darn good.
Yes.
Yeah. I mentioned what you just said about Mr. Smith last week on this very show. I guess
Shepard Smith. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so now about the Ebola thing and blaming Obama. So now I'm wondering how soon are they going to blame him for the Ottawa attack?
Yeah, exactly.
They'll give it a day. Give it 24 hours. The spin room is going. Karl Rove is working on it.
Yeah.
And as far as the Ebola now, and I've mentioned this before, but it's frustrating. Apparently, the 2 nurses are doing much better.
Right.
They have done the thing about blocking certain airports, letting them in. We haven't had any more cases.
Yep.
So why isn't the same, fire alarm blazing about that again? Is when this? I know you've said it. When it bleeds, it leaves. But it's just a particular frustration of mine, or any.
Well, and we were saying, what about the 43 people that had really direct contact with Duncan, with the guy that died? They're all Ebola free. Where's that story?
They weren't being vomited on and diarrheaed on, as it were, as the nurses were.
I mean, as scared as people are, I mean, even because you've got all have said if it bleeds, it leaves. But wouldn't that get as much rating with people, on the spot saying, and as you just mentioned, all of these people are Ebola free. It seems we're getting a handle on it. The 2 nurses, surely the relief of people of it not being an epidemic of people getting hit is just as ratings grabbing as the fear, wouldn't it? Aren't humans?
Yeah, you would think so.
Actually, that things are better as much as they want to know the stuff like that.
They just need an Ebola NRA, Stop panicking just because a few people died. Just because 27 kids died in a school and 14 people got killed in the theater.
Right.
Calm down.
Well, Kevin, it's exactly what the president said at one point, right? This is, if it does get here, it'll be contained, which it is.
Yeah. Which apparently, because, I'm not a doctor and I obviously...
You're not? Bless America.
But it seems to be being contained. I want to be informed if there were things going wrong, but it appears factually, as Mr. Shepard Smith said again on Fox, I said that last week, that he must have files on people.
Yeah.
It's a particular frustration of mine.
What did he say about it? Just stop panicking?
No, he responsibly reported the facts about Ebola, what it is, how contagious it is not, how difficult it is to get, who not to blame. Forget all about this. Here are the facts.
Carlos, he even reprimanded his own network.
Yeah.
People in his own network for doing that.
He went beyond. I was being played to me on Facebook while I was driving. I was not watching the screen.
Yeah, but this is the problem, Kev, is not only is the mainstream media not liberal, they play off Republican talking points. They allow the Rand Pauls and the Ted Cruzes to go on Sunday shows and fearmonger, like, oh, it's much more contagious than you think, and all that. They're not, they're just speculating. Oh, it could become airborne. I mean,
it's the reason why Republicans go to the poll.
It doesn't matter what issues, or the healthcare thing. They was just wildly going off when the website broke down. But now that people are getting incredible care, they let Mitch McConnell. They should look. No, you're not going to get away with it. You said it would be horrible. You said, and the people in your state are being helped virtually more than anyone. How do you square you being this horribly wrong? Why don't they hold them accountable? And yet we allegedly have a liberal media.
Yeah. No, it's far from that. Not if you read the Nation magazine or the Guardian. We are far from liberal.
Yeah.
Well, I just used to get.
Yeah, and John Kasich, by accident said Obama, the Affordable Care Act is helping people, and then had to backtrack.
Even Tillis too. I was watching that last night. Tillis, who is in. Where is Tillis?
North Carolina. Where is he?
I think it's North Carolina, Tillis.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He was sort of walking it back and then said, well, I still hate Obamacare, but I think we should expand Medicare. Does that work? Can I say that? He's walking back.
Or how about Mitch McConnell said, the website's fine, but Obamacare's still got to be pulled out root and branch.
Well, then you're pulling out the website, too, because that's a part of Obamacare. It's funded by Obamacare.
Somebody put up a new Kentucky Net, what it would say if Obamacare's just, sorry, this is not available because Obamacare has been pulled up root and branch.
Root and branch.
Yeah, exactly.
Root and branch.
But that is the problem. That is what drives the Republicans have mastered that fear. That's what drives them to the polls. The Democrats, unfortunately, don't use fear. They try to use logic.
Yes. 58 minutes after the hour. Right back. More coffee with Carlos Alazraqui.
Hooray!
Stephanie Miller Show. You tuned in on Free Speech TV. The medical discussion. Yeah. Carlos was indicating a proctological exam and nothing.
Yes,
nothing
I have
dirty.
Mr. Mighty Meat Hand doing my proctology. I need a small Filipino woman, doctor. It's okay. Okay, you're done. Really? Yes, and let's check it out. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's good in there.
By the way, speaking of medical issues, Margaret in Madison said, Steph, did Carlos ride his bike there? We saw his tour de force performance as a Heart Attack Mike last night during the NBC Nightly News. Well done, sir.
My wife laughed at commercial. And regarding that, breaking news, my friend Kumi, my Republican friend Kumi, last night on the O'Reilly report saw Heart Attack Mike commercial. I am infiltrating Fox now.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Heart Attack Mike was on the NBC Nightly News and Fox News.
I'm all over.
Do you actually I haven't seen the
Heart
commercial
attack
yet.
could win president.
Do you actually have a heart attack on camera?
No.
Oh.
No.
He talks about how he had a heart attack.
You just talk about how you had
one. I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth. There's a big one. I should have taken a low dose. And it was your face that gave me a heart attack.
Carlos stars in the new Bayer aspirin commercial, if you're wondering what we're talking about. He's not. And you haven't actually had a heart attack.
That my wife laughs at. She goes, look how you're riding a bike. Your arms are all stiff and you're jiggling the bike out of control. I'm like, they were making me go slow. We were on a sidewalk. That stupid helmet.
By the way, you mentioned your Republican friend. We did this story last hour, the Pew study saying liberals are more likely to unfriend or block someone over politics.
Because we don't like dealing with people who are not dealing with facts. That's why we're more likely to block them.
That's what someone just said on my Twitter. It's because Republicans tend to lie. They tend to. It's not like you can disagree about an issue, but when you misstate the facts, it's hard to.
It's almost like being one of the dwarves and going, "It's too late. She's got the poison in her."
Remember the conversation? Remember the right-wing troll with John Fugelsang was here?
Yeah.
It's like, what can you say when someone says President Obama was president in 2008? It's like, no, he was not.
No, January 2009.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be day one.
He was elected in 2008, but he wasn't president.
So he was blaming him for something that happened in 2008 when he was presumably president.
You have a network, Congress, press, Supreme Court dedicating since day one to destroying this president, and then you wonder why the polls are low.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Dedicated 24/7 machine
Yeah.
Uri.
Yeah, we were saying it's things that start as a joke here. That it will happen by the end of the day. Somebody was saying, how are they going to blame Ottawa? Trust me. We'll at the Fox later today. Somehow there will be some connection.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when you when you go back to sort of reveal history about the poor planning and the invasion of Iraq, which many experts said would lead to this sort of splintering of all these Muslim groups, they'll go, stop living in the past.
Yeah.
This is now.
Yeah, stop blaming Bush for everything.
Let me go take you down to the foundation of your house where the crappy contractor didn't put rebar down in the cement, or he didn't reinforce the 2x4s. Rebar. Don't have the rebar.
Okay.
It's the bars that support the cement system.
Oh, okay, thanks. That was some guy talk.
You don't know what rebar is?
No.
You gotta have rebar.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you have a fence that's over 5 foot tall. Then
you gotta have rebar.
Then you gotta have rebar.
You gotta have the rebar and the true coat. You gotta have the rebar.
Do you need to talk about sports too?
Yeah.
Go Gigantes.
Gigantes lost last night because Hunter Strickland's. I said Stephen Hawking has more movement than Hunter Strickland's fastball. So does a bus back to Fresno. Get him out of there!
But yes, the Giants lost last night.
Yes, that's what I'm told.
I want to be a relief pitcher for the San Francisco Giants.
But they come back to play in San Francisco on Friday, Saturday, and if necessary, Sunday.
It would be necessary.
It will be necessary. Yeah.
Right. It will be necessary.
I'm glad I don't have to go across the Bay Bridge.
By any game necessary.
That was way more testosterone than I've been exposed to in quite some time.
Hey, but Timmy Lincecum was smoking pot in the bullpen and got hurt last night. He stretched something.
Uh-oh.
He was pitching very well and just went, dude, I can't pitch anymore.
I gotta come out. Todd. Is his name Todd?
Steve in Long Island.
Tim.
Close enough.
Steph.
Hi, Steve. You're on with Carlos.
My wife would kill me if I didn't say, come back to New York, the sexy liberal. We missed you. We saw you 2 days before Sandy last year, and we loved it.
Aw, thank you, baby.
It was your fault that Sandy came, Stephanie.
It was exactly my fault.
But
go ahead.
You guys touched on it. They want to blame Obama on everything. Well, guess what? The talking points are out on the Ontario thing. The Prime Minister of Canada called it a terrorist act, and when Fort Hood happened, Obama wasn't out there saying it was a terrorist attack. And those are the talking points this morning.
Yes,
because Harper is right-wing.
President Obama's feckless indifference leading from behind the created ISIS, and therefore blah,
How
blah,
can
blah,
we
blah,
link
blah,
it?
blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
He's being easy on Muslims because, he is one of them to them.
Right.
And, Muslims are evil. They're going to kill us all.
Right.
Just like Michelle Bachmann says, that ISIS is using her speeches to recruit people to fight us.
Right.
Beautiful thing.
As Rush Limbaugh explained to us, the president wanted Ebola. He let Ebola come here as payback for slavery. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Rick in Louisville, Kentucky, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Rick.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
I'm the Jew with the Roku in Louisville.
Yay!
Hey, hello.
We're back again. Just wanted to give you an update about some of the things that are happening here, and there might be hope for us. Number one, yesterday in front of the Jefferson County Courthouse, which is here in Louisville, some fella had a 100-pound tortoise that had a sign that says, I'm Mitch and I need your vote.
That's funny. That's funny. I like that.
Around him.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
But more than that, I travel a whole bunch of country roads here where normally the horse farmers and everything are big time, join the Mitch team and things like that. I can't tell you how many Allison Lundigan Grimes signs I've seen all of a sudden.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be close.
And there's so many people here who are afraid to say that they could possibly vote for somebody that Obama might like.
Right.
But I think they're in the woodwork, and they're just afraid to say it.
Yeah.
And that's great news, too. And last but not least, love your show every day. You guys are cool.
Thank you. Aw, we really are the cool kids. We really are. Thanks very much. By the way, since you have Escape from Vagina Island, I thought you would be interested to know. I went to the gynecologist. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Right. Take a look at what's going on.
The Cooter Doc.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Bloody! Are you dry enough now?
My point is, I learned, because you learn something new every day, and I thought this would interest you. He had a patient once that had 2 vaginas. Two entrances, not, 2 fully.
Wow. But were they side by side, or were they double decker?
I know, you're right. I was remiss in not getting all the information.
Because if they're side by side, they're hard to walk down the sidewalk like those baby strollers. You have that though, it's their front and back.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're hogging up the sidewalk there where you're saying.
But if they're double-decker, one would have to be in the taint.
Harry Potter.
Carlos, my point is that we also had been discussing that there is this guy on Reddit, right?
Reddit.
That everybody was talking about that has 2 penises.
Ah!
So,
Match.com.
If we we could be making money on Steph-a-Date, because that's kind of a...
Well, see, that's how the Mexicans populate us. They each have 2.
Do they really? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
They each have 2 genitalia, and that's how they're able to outproduce
Is that just Mexicans or all Latin Americans?
Just Mexicans.
All right.
Just Mexicans.
Okay.
Let's not be crazy.
Wow. Not since Aisha Tyler informed us that black people melt in the rain have we had some
yeah, they do melt in the
rain. Information like that. Thank you, Carlos.
Es la verdad.
Yeah, we just because I saved this for you. We discuss this with everyone that comes in because
how can you not?
He did a AMA.
Yeah.
Ask Me Anything.
Yep.
Because some people had some questions. Both are 100% functional. In case you were wondering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was born with diphalia.
Diphalia.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Diphalia? No, you did not fail me.
He did not absorb a twin. That's a lot of people.
Right. A lot of people ask him that.
Right.
My twin is a penis.
It's not genetic or inherited.
It's just 2 penises.
I am bisexual, and I'm in a committed relationship with a man and a woman.
Oh, that's great. But so you keep them separate, though. This one's for the man, this one's for the woman.
It's a time saver if you're busy, because you could do it presumably at the same time. You could have a date with both the same night.
And we saw a picture of it yesterday.
Right.
We showed the picture on the Happy Hour podcast yesterday with Frangela.
Yes.
And one of them is circumcised and one of them is not.
Ah, wow.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
Little choice. Grab bag down there. Yeah.
Wow. So you could have it Chicago style or New York style.
Right. Depends on how you like your sausage. Right. There's a dish for everybody.
This one comes with sauerkraut. This one comes with mustard and ketchup. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then it's time.
Just like the hot dog reference.
Yes, that was funny.
Yes, exactly. Are you going to be taking your kids to a haunted house for Halloween?
No, a wee bit too scary, I think, for the kids.
Well, this one in particular, I would not
if
recommend.
it's about scaring them straight, I will. I don't want my child to be gay, so if I can take her to one that will keep her from being gay, I will take her to that one.
There is one of those, remember? A few years ago?
The Hell House.
Yeah, we did
Yes,
Hell
yes,
House.
they
Look
did.
at it. 2 women kissing. Remember? I remember that.
Yeah, get your face up in there.
You did. Oh.
Get your face up in there, boy.
2 women kissing. No, I'm not going to take her to any haunted house. She's too young.
Yeah. Well, cause when we were kids, there were just, remember, it was like, oh, they're eyeballs. It'd be like hardball legs.
Reaching into spaghetti, you're reaching into somebody's
brains.
intestines.
Right, yeah. Well, this one, clowns violently poke family at haunted house with a purple vibrator.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's Montgomery, Illinois. I thought it was Alabama, too.
That wasn't Phil Spector's house?
Pardon me?
That was not Phil Spector's house.
Yes, the mother says one of the clowns violently poked her daughter with a purple vibrator, while the other one simulated oral sex on a teddy bear with another vibrator strapped to its crotch.
While they were playing that song, she was a purple vibrator eater. Something.
She said one of the men shouted, do you want some more? And you know you like it in the...
Wow.
That's not appropriate for a child.
Right.
No.
Right. Really?
I'm not even a father, and I.
We did an episode on Reno 911. I think it was season 1, series 2, where Jack Plotkin was playing a guy hosting a haunted house, and we found that there was a hole in the bottom of his bowl of intestine spaghetti, and he was putting his little peener through.
Oh my goodness.
Sir, we have reports that. No, that is not true.
You know, there is and I'm not making this up, a toddler ISIS Halloween costume available.
Oh, my gosh.
You can get Ebola.
Oh, wow.
Halloween costumes or a toddler ISIS outfit.
You know, if only Renee Zellweger had joined ISIS, she would have been able to get past all the press, could have kept her face covered. This would have been a non-issue.
Carlos Alzraki, problem solver. All right, 18 minutes after the hour, we roll along. More coffee with Carlos on the Stephanie Miller Show. It's coffee with Heart Attack Mike.
That's right.
Do we actually have the Bear aspirin commercial? Carlos Alzraki starred on Fox News and NBC Nightly News last night. Tour de force as a Heart Attack Mike in the new Bear commercial. Very earnest, very friendly.
I'm very earnest and very friendly, and I cocked my head to the side.
You did.
What you got to do when you're selling pills.
Here he is.
I was out for a bike ride. I didn't think I'd have a heart attack, but I did. I'm Mike. I'm very much alive. Now my doctor recommends a Bayer aspirin regimen to help prevent another heart attack.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin
I had a
regimen.
little tiny shot of you and your wife riding a bike again.
A bicycle.
Yeah.
I would not have believed that you were very much alive had you not done that with your neck.
Yeah, I'm Mike.
Very much alive.
Very much alive. And then I'm holding the bottle of Bayer aspirin. I'm pushing drugs on the kids. Yeah. Yo, get your low dose. Mm-hmm.
But I guess for low dose to be effective, you have to chew it. That's what I've heard.
I don't know. They didn't tell me that.
Okay.
I do take low dose.
A spectacular actor. You might have been able to pull this off. Man faked a coma for 2 years to avoid court. Maybe you could be coma, Mike.
Oh, sounds like my wife, Edgar. The late great Joan Rivers would have said, faking a coma. Oh, I wish he would move that much.
Hey, yeah, he might have gotten away with it if it had not been for his supermarket loyalty card. Gets you every time.
He was using his supermarket loyalty card
while in a coma.
He pretended, a British fraudster, pretended to be quadriplegic and sometimes comatose for 2 years to avoid prosecution. Has been convicted after police caught him on camera driving and strolling around supermarkets.
Wouldn't the people in the hospital have noticed that he was gone for a little while?
I suppose.
It was a home coma.
His crime, he stole...
A home coma.
Sometimes that happens when I watch the sports centers. I get the home coma.
I get the home coma
Hold on,
real
honey.
bad.
I'm following the bottom line.
He is, well, he's a nice guy. He stole $64,000 from the bank account of an elderly neighbor with Alzheimer's.
Oh, that is great karma.
Yeah.
Oh.
When police began investigating, he claimed to be quadriplegic and so sick he sometimes fell into a coma.
You don't sometimes fall into a coma.
It's kind of like narcolepsy. It's called comalepsy.
He checked himself into a hospital to avoid court appearances, saying he was having seizures.
Oh.
Boy, that's a lot of whole medical mishpuka in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know.
He's got all the terminology.
Sounds like you're talking about
comas,
his ass.
seizures, quadriplegic, something, neck injury.
Neck injury, strokeism. I got a strokeism. I got a strokeism even. Having some Murgatroyd. Exit station.
That's the second time Snagglepuss has come up on the show this week.
Really?
Yes.
And how would I know?
Yeah. He needs to use the Google on the medical information a little more.
Yeah,
temporary coma.
WebMD.
I'd like to answer that question, but... oh, I'm sorry. Just another temporary coma. I'm back. What'd you say?
Comalepsy. Sorry. As prescribed by my doctor. Maybe I should take some Bayer low dose. Fix that right up.
All right. Oh, speaking of cautionary tales, I saved this one for you as well. Just in case you're planning any trips to New York, woman steals Rolex from New York tourist, hides it in her vagina.
Oh, I found this watch up your grandfather's bum. I found this watch up this lady's cooter.
It was not Christopher Walken. It was an Australian tourist.
Nah.
Yes.
She
took a woman to
it
his
down under. She stuffed it down under.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yes, she did.
Took a woman back to his hotel room and she snatched his $25,000 Rolex and hid it in her vagina.
That's right.
She tried the ever popular. Maybe it fell behind the nightstand. No.
No. I put it in my marsupial-like pouch.
Right.
And there it'll stay.
She punched him several times in the face as she tried to flee the hotel. She finally oiled up and pulled it out of her. Yep. There you go.
It was covered in slime.
Cats.
There were no cats involved.
Oh.
Okay. Working out next to Shia LaBeouf is just as bizarre as you would expect, according to Defamer.
Okay. Yep, I believe it.
Her Defamer's friend exercised next to Shia LaBeouf, who was wearing jeans for an hour. We know someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember? I used to go to your same gym.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds kind of
worked out in jeans, and it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of uppity from you guys. He was wearing jeans. Oh, so what? He's wearing jeans.
Not when you're doing cardio.
Why not?
You need freedom of movement.
It's stinky. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes. If you're wondering whether the story contains a bit about Shia LaBeouf staring uncomfortably at my friend, I'll just go ahead and let you know the answer is yes. I saw him at a weights machine. He had a full beard. He's wearing jeans, t-shirt, and these sock-like gray high-top sneakers. For a good 2 minutes, he just stared at me while I was doing lunges in his direction, which made me feel really uncomfortable.
I bet.
You're waiting for her to transform, that's all.
Right. Is that what it was?
I wonder if she turned back into a truck.
Oh, he also slapped Alan Cumming on the ass during a live performance of Cabaret on Broadway.
Yeah.
Because there's a thing where he goes through the audience. And
Alan Cumming does, as the MC.
Right.
Yeah.
As you do.
Right.
When you're playing the MC in Cabaret.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's a football thing, like, good play.
I encouraged ass slapping during Sexy Liberal, but that's different. He was in character.
Slap ass. Key and Peele.
Well, you were shoving people's hands down your crotch.
Well, actually, the Seattle show was my birthday, so I wanted it was a group spanking.
Oh.
Okay, this is how dumb our celebrity culture is. Mm-hmm. This is actually a headline. Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow touched each other Tuesday night. Oh. This is actually a news story in America. Chris Martin crossed an LA intersection on foot after a family dinner. Gwyneth Paltrow was in a halted SUV with his children. She stuck her head outside the window and touched Chris Martin's head.
Oh.
She consciously recoupled with his head. And I guess that is important to somebody.
I'll be right here.
I don't think that's what she said.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know that.
I slept with Iron Man. And then, boom. Okay, take off, driver. No, I'm at in the movie.
I get it.
Robert Downey Jr. That would freak out my wife.
She was Pepper Potts.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Pepper Potts.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
This is Harry Potter. Harry Potter, this is Pepper Potts. Pepper Potts is Harry Potter. Miss.
All right.
Pepper Potter.
Wow. My Chardonnay canaries are back.
Yeah.
I partied entirely too late with Frangela last night. Okay. 29 minutes after the hour, back with more coffee with Carlos on the Stephanie Miller Show.
I'm a whore. Still, I had some fun. There is no thrill equal to looking into some guy's eyes and thinking, I don't know your name and you don't know mine, but for the next 8 minutes we are going to rock this gas station bathroom right off its foundation.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Gosh, we haven't inquired what Louis Gohmert thinks about something in quite some time.
Oh, Louis, come on now.
Representative Louis Gohmert of the great state of Texas.
Down at the filling station.
Mm-hmm. He had some thoughts on the gays in the military.
Yes, he did.
How retro of him.
Oh, boy.
And I've had people say, hey, there's nothing wrong with gays in the military. Look at the Greeks. Well, they did have people come along who they loved. It was the same sex and would give them massages before they went into the battle. But you know what? It's a different kind of fighting. It's a different kind of war. And if you're sitting around getting massages all day, ready to go in a big planned battle, then you're not going to last very long. It's guerrilla fighting. You are going to be ultimately vulnerable to terrorism. And, if that's what you start doing in the military, like the Greeks did, as people have said, well, you got to understand, you don't even know your history. Oh, yes, I do. I know exactly.
You study military
Not a good idea.
Oh, wow. Woo! No, you don't even know your history.
That's insulting to our current
I
groups.
just don't have to wait. I have a knot in my back.
Due to my extensive military combat experience playing rocks and dirt clod fights in the backyard, I tell you what, we had no time. You sitting there getting a massage, you liable to get a drop right upside your head. You tell me I don't know my history. I said, I'll tell you what I do. That you gotta see, they're too busy painting rainbows on the enemy's tanks, and that's when they get sideswiped by a straight snapper.
What's weird is there's really not much difference when Carlos does it.
No, it really isn't. That's where art cannot imitate life.
No,
can't even come close.
No.
Sorry, Louis.
Okay. By the way, I save all the stories about little gals for when you come in.
Little gals.
Because you have little gals. Say hi, Marley.
May I say that we came home the other day. My cousin was visiting from Argentina. I walked in the house. We have a babysitter that was there. My wife was there. Austin was there. Riley was there. And my cousin Vicky was there. I was surrounded by women. Just like Commander McBride. So I used a lamp, and I pulled open out the door into safety. But Commander, quite.
That's amazing, Commander.
Yeah, quite. Commander McBride.
So Vagina Island sometimes gets even more vagina-y.
More, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now with more vagina.
Now.
Thank you.
Vagina Retson. We're just, y'all, we're a mean country sometimes.
Yeah.
This little 10-year-old girl, Jetta Fosberg, did you see this? There's her original picture. Here's what she did. She is, did I mention 10?
Uh-huh.
She founded an organization that would take her donation to make wigs for kids with cancer.
Right.
She said the haircut turned her life into a nightmare. The 10-year-old from Dayton donated 14 inches of her hair to Wigs for Kids, an organization that supports children who have lost their hair due to cancer treatments.
Yeah.
But that selfless act led to intense bullying at school, according to Jenna's mom. Other kids said she wanted to be a boy and called her ugly.
Oh, sounds like Republican Congress.
Yes. She said she approached the principal about the bullying, but didn't like how the conversation turned out. He told me that he didn't know of any child that ever died from words, and we needed to toughen up and deal with it.
Well, see, Louis Gilbert would say, you know, that you see, back in the old days, it was okay to cut your hair. You see, the Greeks would do that. They would donate their hair, and that was fine because they were Greek and covered in dirt and olive oil, and you couldn't tell the difference anyway. Nowadays, these kids are all cleaned up, and when a girl loses 14 inches, what she's trying to say, I don't want 14 inches. I want to be with a lady. And so,
oh my God!
What did I say? Come on now, that's factually true. You can find it in the
I'm not challenging
New
any
England
of it.
Journal of blah blah blah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and sometimes childhood bullies turn into adult bullies. I have to play the Michael Savage thing again. You play it for Carlos, and we need to play it for the folks again.
Come on.
He had some thoughts about our military veterans and the PTSD. Just being about whinings. Just whining. Just whining because you want a government check of some sort.
I used to do that joke, Bob Dole. I remember the good old days when you could beat your wife and blame it on the war. Bob Dole.
We have no information Bob Dole ever did that. All right, here it is.
I am so sick and tired of everyone with their complaints about PTSD, depression. Everyone wants their hand held and a check, a government check.
Wow.
What, you're the only generation that PTSD? The only generation that's depressed? I'm sick of it. I can't take the celebration of weakness and depression. See, I was raised a little differently. I was raised to fight weakness. I was raised to fight pain. I was raised to fight depression.
He didn't serve.
Not to give into it. Not to cave into it and cry like a little baby in bed. Boo-hoo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. Everyone has depression in their life. Everyone has sickness and sadness and disease and loss of relatives and loss of career. Everyone has depression in their life. But if the whole nation is told, boo-hoo-hoo, come and get a medication, come and get treatment, talk about mental illness, you know what you wind up with? You wind up with Obama in the White House and liars in every phase of the government. That's what you wind up with. It's a weak, sick nation. A weak, sick, broken nation.
Well, it took him only 37 seconds to get to Obama. Of course, Michael Savage did serve in the.
Oh, he did.
He served. Of course, and it's factual to compare PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, to losing a loved one. It's the exact same scientific phenomenon.
Yeah.
So
having a sad is the same as watching your buddies get blown to bits. And
I challenge Michael Savage 2 rounds of UFC fighting. I don't even know him.
All
He's
right.
probably not even
Let's
my weight class.
Let's do it.
Gauntlets. Consider the gauntlet thrown.
Let's go, Savage. Let's see who wins.
Yeah, because he's a big man, apparently.
Take him in the octagon.
I got him.
All right. Another story that concerns little gals, of which you have 2.
I have 2 little gals.
This has been a debate before, because Beyonce got on was it Newsweek cover about feminism or the new, Annie Lennox had some thoughts on that.
Sweet dreams are made of this.
Last month she called Beyonce feminist light. And yesterday she clarified twerking is not feminism. She said the reason I've commented is because I think this overt sexuality thrust literally at particular audiences, which very often performs have a very, very young audience, like 7 years old. I find it disturbing, and I think it's exploitative. Twerking is not feminism. That's what I've been referring to. It's not liberating. It's not empowering. It's a sexual thing that you're doing on stage. It doesn't empower you. That's my feeling about it.
Who am I to disagree?
See what you did there?
I love Annie Lennox, and I think she's absolutely correct.
Well, I know. I mean, first of all, you think they're performers. Who cares? But she does have really, really young kids in the audience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Bajancy consists of some 7-year-olds?
Some 7-year-olds.
That's what I'm told.
I don't get the whole Jay-Z, Beyonce thing. I think they're fine as musicians, but I don't get the fervor. The picture of them by the Mona Lisa. They're fine. They're just they make music. They're not Stevie Wonder. They're not Billy Preston.
As musicians, they're fine. As entertainers,
they're fine.
they're entertaining.
Your little girls, what I'm told, some parents will say like their little girls like imitate that. It's a little disturbing. It is
my little girl imitates Veruca Salt.
I want it now, Daddy. Why can't I have it now? Faster, Daddy.
That's who my little girl imitates.
But I'm just saying, 7-year-old girls twerking. It's a little.
It's like, I agree with Annie Lennox. Just because you can display, if then all strippers are feminists. I just don't.
There are some strippers who are proud to use their sexuality and their femininity, and there are some people.
Right.
There are some feminists who think that, I guess, femininity should be suppressed into masculinity.
I think she could be. I think some of the way Annie Lennox would sing was very erotic, very sensual, things like that. I don't think you have to be
not much anymore.
Yeah.
When she was younger, yes, she sang with some eroticism, but she's an older woman now.
Maybe she's getting old and crusty.
Jenny McCarthy just said that. She said even posing for Playboy, people were like, "You think that was a feminist move?" And she said, "I don't know. I just needed to pay off college."
Yeah, good for her.
Good point.
Yeah.
She used her assets.
Yeah. Oh, she also would love her.
There are some men who would do that too.
Absolutely, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
Playgirl.
She would love her 12-year-old son Evan to be gay. Asked how she would react if he were gay. She said, "Oh my God, I'd be so excited. We can shop. He could do my hair." Just saying.
That's
Remember,
racist.
John Fugelsang said he and his wife, but we don't care if it's boy or girl as long as it's gay. That's all we care about.
That's right.
The most progressive
as
parent
long
in the
as
world.
she marries Ellen.
Yeah, she just married Donnie Wahlberg. She said 2 of her male friends who are getting married next year helped her to raise Evan. I have a friend whose son is, and it is true, fabulous with makeup and
Whatever.
I'm just saying.
How old is the son? 6?
Same, 12ish.
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the other way.
And he does your makeup?
Not mine, my friend's. That's his mother. I'm just saying it is a bonus.
Okay.
My Riley loves to put on makeup, so she's really girly girl.
Right.
And she's waiting for that whole Prince thing.
She's
so
the
right
kind of
now
girly
she's
girl
super straight.
that takes her dress off in public sometimes.
Yeah, and plays with the coochie.
Little trouble coming there.
Okay.
Anita in San Antonio. Little trouble for Daddy. Okay. Anita, you're on with Carlos.
That's Daddy's girl.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. That could pay for college.
Yeah.
Just like Jenny McCarthy. Okay. Hi, Anita.
Hi, Steph.
Hi.
Hey, listen, doesn't what Michael Savage say remind you of what Ann Coulter said about the 9/11 widows?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He was sick of them. It's funny, they use 9/11, they use, they use veterans, but in reality, this is kind of, how they really feel. That's what I think.
The thing as a radio person that struck me is I'm like, people really want to listen to that for 3 hours? That made me feel dirty, just 37 seconds.
People do listen.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ann Coulter always makes me feel dirty, too.
Yeah, you're just like, ooh, it's just dripping with, like, hatred and anger and blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's designed to get a reaction, and they get what they want sometimes.
Well, that's exactly what it is. He knows what he's doing.
This show's designed to get a reaction, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Danette in Georgia, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Danette.
Hello. I am so glad that Annie Lennox said something about Beyonce. She is an embarrassment. I do not think that shaking your hind end in a ballerina tutu is feminism. It's disgusting. Every song, I think I've only seen her perform twice where she's fully clothed. And it's just disgusting. And it's not feminism. It is not what I want my daughter to think that being a woman is all about.
Although, I mean, in her...
and I don't allow her to listen to it at all.
But, Danette, in her defense, I'm not sure Beyonce ever claimed to be a feminist. Did she, or am I wrong? I mean, I feel like just because somebody threw it on a magazine cover, I mean, she is a powerful, successful woman. But, you know what I mean? Because someone threw it on a magazine cover.
Well, I think she's reaping the benefits of the struggles that people like Annie Lennox went through, back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is benefiting from the people that came before her, and I just don't think that it sets a good example that what it is basically proving is a misogynistic bent that media has anyway, that to sell a hamburger, you have to sexualize it, and in order to be considered powerful, you have to be willing to shake your half-naked behind in front of millions of people on the Grammys.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's the message. I know it's not the message that I want for my kids, and I don't even allow my children to watch music award shows for that reason.
Yeah, I'm more of an Alicia Keys guy than I would be a Beyonce guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that Alicia Keys would do. And
how do you explain to Riley that it is inappropriate to take her Dress off in public.
I said you won't get any Lucky Charms if you continue to do that. You don't need to explain. You just take away things. No iPad, no Lucky Charms. You could do that.
Okay, no going to Turkey to join ISIS.
I really don't. I don't really discourage her from doing anything as a 3-year-old. And say certain things, but it's not as bad as we make it sound. You touch yourself there a little bit, but not here. You can do it there. But come on, stop.
Not at Gelson's.
Not
okay.
at Gelson's.
All right, 47 minutes after the hour. Back with the remaining moments. Coffee with Carlos on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Coffee with Carlos Alzraqui. Someone, is that tweeted me?
No, send an email.
Said, tell that lady.
Beyonce's an entertainer.
Oh, let me make a note of that. Beyonce is an entertainer, you say.
You know who's an entertainer? And I showed it to my daughter, and I just showed it to Chris. Billy Preston live, Outer Space. Watch that video. Yellow suit with a purple shirt.
No twerking there.
He had the audience in the palm of his hand.
He was awesome.
Yep.
That's entertainment. No
That's
twerking.
entertainment. No twerking.
Entertainer.
Billy Preston is not a feminist.
Here's what you have to look forward to with your two girls. We talked about the girls that from Denver, the teenagers that
went to
flew to Turkey, as kids do, to join ISIS. The dad actually, the school called to say she was not at school, so he called her cell phone and she answered, but she did not say.
And she said, what?
No. She said, just Dad,
Hi.
I'm just running late, guy. I'm totally not in Frankfurt on the way to ISIS. That's crazy. Anyway, the teen girls tweeted about their trip to join
Really?
ISIS because kids are dumb. Okay. The three teenagers tweeted with fellow students about their plans to travel to Germany, apparently on their way to join the Islamic State. The principal said students came in on Monday morning and reported the tweets to us. They said they were going to Germany and then try to go to Turkey. Some of the students on Twitter told them it was a bad idea, and others said good luck. The district believes the girls were victims of online predators. In most cases like this, it's not so much they want to fight with ISIS. They're promised they'll have homes, be safe, have husbands, and live within their religion. So that's
easy.
Yeah.
Better than to go to Disneyland.
Pardon me?
You don't have to pay for parking when you join ISIS.
Oh, is that what they offer? Free parking?
Free parking.
You just leave your car at the Denver airport.
That's right.
The whole time.
Right.
Yeah, I have to skedaddle him.
All right, he's gonna leave in a huff now because he has a thing with a guy.
I gotta pick up my cousin at the train station.
I understand.
Before she runs off and joins ISIS.
Okay. All right.
We can't have that happen.
All right. Goodbye, Carlos.
Bye, Carlos. Thank you.
We love you. Sue in Rockville, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Sue.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
If you're going to talk about feminism as an older woman who's raised girls and now raising a second generation and takes them to bars and everything,
right?
Let me make it very simple. Feminism simply means you support women, whatever their choices are, that women have the same opportunities. It's really very simple.
Right. And I love Beyonce's music, by the way, but I'm just saying I'm not a parent, so I do get that it's disturbing to have some 7-year-old girls imitating those moves, right?
Excuse me, my girls grew up during the time they had Madonna, and they didn't end up walking down Broadway naked. I mean, for Pete's sakes, it's still...
They're going to be exposed to it at some point.
Right.
It is what really is relevant to real people in the real world is their families, is the role models they have, the way they are treated. You want to see a great video, see You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore, a new one about women today, young women today, talking to the right wing about You Don't Own Me. Taking old music and taking young women today. We support women. Let's have a little perspective. Nothing Beyonce does, nothing Annie Lennox does, nothing Madonna does.
She doesn't make policy as far as I know.
As far as I know. We have to vote women into office. We have to support women, whether they're full-time mothers or choose to be working full-time. It's that simple. Whatever their choices are, we don't deny them or support them for anything other than doing what their hearts tell them to do.
You know what I think might be more dangerous?
I don't know if that seems logical or not.
Sure. As the official parenting specialist of the Stephanie Miller Show, you know what I think seems more dangerous idea? Did you hear about this school in Nebraska will allow students to pose with their guns in yearbook photos? A high school in Nebraska.
I have much more problem with guns. And
wait a minute. As long as they do not brandish them or point the firearm at the camera, the school board voted 6-0 to allow the guns in the photos as long as the images are tasteful.
That's amazing. I probably could have used a gun in my high school in the Bronx, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sue. All right. Annie in Santa Monica, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Annie.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm calling in defense of Annie Lennox and Beyonce.
Okay.
Because actually Annie explained, she said, well, I didn't specifically criticize Beyonce.
Right.
I was being asked about Beyonce in the context of feminism, and I was thinking about the time about very impactful feminists that have dedicated their lives to the movement of liberating women and supporting women at the grassroots. And I was saying, well, that's one end of the spectrum, and then you have the other end of the spectrum. I mean, if we're going to criticize twerking, can we talk about Miley Cyrus and her influence on young girls? So, anyway, thanks so much, you guys.
All right. Oh, no, thank you. Oh, no, thank you.
I don't think feminism is about squashing femininity or sexuality.
That's what someone's right. Feminism is doing what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I act like a total whore at sex liberal shows, as you know.
Beyonce isn't doing it because she's forced to. Beyonce's doing it because she wants to.
Well, we always said that that show is not appropriate for anyone of any age.
The sexy liberal, yeah.
Right. So when people would bring kids, we didn't recommend it. At least I had to feel bad when I was acting like a whore in front of kids. Okay. That's it for us.
God.
We'll see you tomorrow on the Stephanie Miller Show.